Hello student, today we're going to study about globalization. So in this globalization, I will talk and teaching you about what is globalization, what is the globalization of market, what is globalization of production, why do we need global institution, what do global institutions do, what is driving globalization, and the decline trade and investment barrier, the changing demographic of the global economy, how has world output changed and world trade changed, and then what is multinational enterprise. So basically, I will teach you about uh, 10 slide, and then you can read uh, because in the slide I have typed all the notes. Okay, let's start with the first slide. You probably heard the term globalization before, but what does it mean? Globalization can be defined as the shift toward a more integrated and interdependent world economy. In other words, the world is moving away from self-contained national economies toward an interdependent, integrated global system. What does it mean? Well, think for a moment about your day so far. Perhaps when you wake up in the morning in a bed made by a Sweden, IKEA, and you got dressed in shirt made in China and American Levi's jeans that were produced in China. After putting on your Brazilian made shoes and drinking an Italian style latte, and then you drove to work with motorcycle Yamaha that was manufactured in Japan. On the way to your job, on the way to your campus, let's say, you might have talked to your friend with your Oppo cell phones that was designed in China. As you can see, your day has already been filled with the fact of globalization. Keep in mind, Touch, that the globalization of market doesn't mean that consumers are the same everywhere and difference between market no longer exists. National markets are still very relevant, challenging companies to develop different marketing strategies and operating procedures. For example, as you will see in the closing case, General Electric recognized that the importance of responding to local market difference and so has been working to develop more international organization that is managed by individuals from around the world who understand local customers. We will talk more about this market difference in later chapters. What's making it easier to sell internationally, failing trade barrier for one thing, and was we already mentioned the convergence of consumer taste and preference. Keep in mind that as companies benefit from the global opportunities, they also promote even greater globalization by offering the same basic product worldwide. And now we are in the slide 4. The second phase of globalization, the globalization of production, refers to the sourcing of goods and services from location around the globe to take advantage of national difference in the cost and quality of factors production like land, labor, and capital. Companies hope that by sourcing and producing their product in the optimal location, wherever in the world that might be, they will be able to better compete against their rivals. For example, Boeing. Do you know Boeing, right? Boeing is one of the companies aircraft in the world, based in USA. So Boeing, for example, outsourced about 65% of 787 aircraft to foreign companies. About 35% of the jet will be made by three Japanese companies. Boeing believes that this strategy allows it to use the best suppliers in the world, an advantage that will help it win market share over its rival Airbus industry. Even healthcare can be outsourced today. Hospitals now routinely send X-ray via the internet to be read in India or in Malaysia, and some insurance companies even recommended having certain procedures conducted in foreign countries. You can learn more about this phenomenon in the evening case on the globalization of American healthcare in your textbook. So now we are in the chapter 5. Why do we need global institution? Several globalizations have emerged to manage, regulate, and police the global marketplace, and to promote the establishment of multinational treaties to govern the global business system. We will talk more in more detail about this session in later chapter. But for now, let's take a quick look at some of them. The key institutions affecting international business are the General Agreement on Tariff and Trade, or GAAP, the World Trade Organization, or WTO, International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank and the United Nations. Let's take a brief look at one, beginning with the World Trade Organization and its predecessor, the General Agreement on Tariff and Trade. So I think you can read about the next slide, more about WTO, and then World War II, what is driving globalization after the World War II, and then in the slide 8, declining trade and investment barrier, what does globalization means for a firm, the changing demographic of the global economy. You can read by yourself because I have wrote the notes in the below part.